Good morning. The freight looks pretty good, but we got to be careful. And I'll explain right after this. Stay tuned. Yes. Good morning. Let's I need to up the volume on this. Hold on. I need more of me in the monitor. Check. All right. Good morning. Hope all is well. Let's get rid of this screen here. I am cautiously optimistic about the freight. And you're like, why are you cautious? Well, I'm cautious about too many things. Almost to a fault, almost to where I kind of drag some things down for myself and for others by being overly cautious. But this new desk setup, if you are a member of the channel, you are probably know what I'm talking about. Those of you follow me on Facebook, you kind of know what I'm talking about because I didn't reveal everything. But anyways, good morning. It is Wednesday, January 7th, and lucky number 7. And it's been Monday was a trip. Monday was bam, 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 bam. All the trucks in the company were booking freight. I was booking freight, and the rates were glorious. And I'll give you an example. So there was a particular broker I go to that has a website, and I go to them first before I even open up 123 low board or DAT. And they would have a rate, say, posted at 650, but it would be on DAT for 1,000. Right now, if you go to their website and bid 1,000, the AI is going to reject that, maybe, or it's going to counter you and you won't be able to counter back, because that's how the AI works. The AI pricing says, all right, we'll put, sometimes they'll do like $20 increments. Oh, we can't do 650, but we can do 630. And then if you hold the ground and say 640 or 6, it becomes a thing, right? It becomes a thing. So if the AI says don't go more than $200 over and you bid $300 over their asking price, then automatically says F you, dude, and digitally says nope, just take it or leave it, right? There's no counter. But anyways, so I contacted my rep, bid 11, and got it. And I've done that for the last week and a half for the most part. There's a couple of loads I had to kind of fight for, but I was in a bad area, right? The truck was in a bad area. So here's where the caution has to be. We're going to go over, okay, I got to get the share screen thing. I have not yet done this with this new monitor. So let's share screen. It's doing it just like normal. There we go. All right, so those of you guys don't know, I got a 49-inch monitor now, so I can basically have 3 screens. And then I got a 4th screen on top. But anyways, so everything's bigger, so I shouldn't be squinting, as much as I normally do. So I've got on the weather here, and then we'll get into CDN's freight market report that he sends me every week. Skull. All right. So, the West is doing its thing weather-wise. You got the winter weather advisories and the Northeast. So if you live in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, mid to upstate New York, you're dealing with some winter weather. And then you got a bunch of fog through here. I had some drivers I was talking to that dealt with this fog yesterday as well. So this weird weather is causing a lot of problems. So anyways, let's go over the market conditions. There's not a whole lot of people in here, and that's my fault for not, there's a couple of things going against me on the algorithm. Number one, I'm an older channel. This channel's been around since 2014. That's when I bought my first truck. My OG channel, I can't get any traction on that, and that's been around since 2009. I'm not consistent, so YouTube don't like that. And most of my videos are live, underproduced. I'm not doing the typical vlog thing where I'm like pointing up to the screen with the video playing in the background like the TikToks. I don't do enough shorts. So my algorithms struggle a little bit. I don't do anything extravagant. I'm not extreme. I'm not here cursing at you or anything like that. I'm just here reporting and teaching and learning. And the algorithms don't like that unless you're professionally polished and have a PhD or something, or you have a team like Dr. Berg. He puts out a lot of videos. He's got over, I forget how many million subscribers, but he has a professional team that puts his videos together. I don't have a team. You're looking at the team. I've got a $50 backdrop and a so-so camera, a so-so light, and a so-so, and I'm using StreamYard, which, whatever. Anyways, but I appreciate everybody that comes in and watches these videos. And I know it's a little bit earlier than I normally go, but here lately I've been getting my butt kicked after 7 o'clock. So I wanted to get an early start so I can at least go over this freight report. So if work calls and says, hey, you need to get off that YouTube, then I've at least, there's a call right there. I've at least gone over this freight report. Okay. Also, side note, check it out. This is what I got for my birthday. Let's see. It is a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 interface. And with this thing, I should be able to start recording music directly to my computer. I downloaded a DAW, DAW, that's short for Digital Audio Workstation. And I have to learn it. BandLab just wasn't cutting it because of the latency and because of other issues, but I think this new program will work. If not, I'm going to try Reaper. So, but anyways, I'm hoping that I can do some music with this thing and then I'll share it with you guys. So, anyways, that's off topic, but here's the freight report. So, overall market is in neutral. It's in the yellow zone. Okay, van is in the yellow zone. We haven't seen this since 2023. Okay, and I'm going to get to more of that. Reefer is almost in the tight, and flatbed is almost right there on the border. Look at this. This is information according to DAT, and there'll be some truck stop info on here, and then we'll go over 123's stuff as well. Now, there's a couple of things going on when you see a big increase like this. Like it shows 229 to 240 on van. It went from 253 to 262 in flatbed, and it went from 270 to 291 in reefer. This is really positive, but it can you got to be careful with this. Okay, January, we're only 7 days into it. Okay, so this is going to be, what I have found is the week between Christmas and New Year's, you're getting good rates. Capacity is way down. A lot of people are at home. A lot of people don't want to run over the holidays. And so every single load that I did book, man, I'm not going to call a home run, but I was getting some triples, right? There was a couple of home runs. There was one load that I literally got $1,000 over the 15-day average on. It was one of those where I just put the number in and they took it. I'm like, okay, well, cool. And I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with this load. There's going to be some issues. Nope, it was one and done, easy load, right? So this is, now here's the other chart that's been really cool. Okay, this is from Truck Stop. This yellow line represents last year. Look how much down it was versus this bar that's up. This is a positive thing. And I'm already seeing spring stuff already shipping. Mulch, lawn and garden stuff. A lot of equipment is shipping right now. A lot of multi-stop. If you're into the multi-stop tractors and four-wheelers and lawn equipment and all that stuff, you can be making some bank right now. Okay. So this is pretty good. Now this is Truck Stop's little regional truckload market for dry van. So, you got 240 here in the upper Midwest, you got 248 out in the West, and then the far West, you got $1.96. So West Coast, it's hard to make money. This is, take the numbers out of the equation, just look at the difference between this area and this area, right? So you got to take these numbers with a grain of salt. But the Midwest is at 233. The Upper Plains is at 240. In Texas, I've seen better rates in and out of Texas here lately too, which is kind of nice, refreshing, because there is a lane that I used to do all the time. It was Dallas to Springfield and back, and I could make money doing that. So, but here's something, okay? So the outbound tender reject index, which measures relative capacity in the market, was last reported at 13.2%. For reference, anything above 6 is showing capacity is tightening. The van outbound, listen to this, the van outbound tender rejects was reported at 11.2%. For reference, the index record low was 2.3%. Flatbeds at 24.8 and reefers at 22. The U.S. economy posted robust growth in the third quarter of 2025, expanding at an annual rate of 4.3%, according to the initial estimate released by the Bureau of Economic Analysis. FMCSA is now targeting 8 states to make changes related to the process and procedures for granting non-domiciled CDLs. and learner permits. The state of Nevada is canceling nearly 1,000 non-domiciled commercial driver's license after determining that 99.5% of the holders did not comply with requirements issued by the FMCSA. The Nevada DMV spokesperson stated the phase-out is permanent. In other words, they're not being like, oh, sorry, here's them back. No, they've taken them away. According to ACT research, spot rates were running about 10% above year-ago levels, rising roughly 8% on a seasonally adjusted basis over the past month. Standard Forwarding and Standard Forwarding Freight and Queen Transportation ceased operations. It's a big company. Let's see. I'm trying to find the place. The domestic truckload market is entering 2026 with tightening capacity driving sustained upward pressure on spot rates. Spot rates have risen for several consecutive weeks, elevating dry van levels to their highest since early 2023 and pushing refrigerated rates to peaks not seen since February of 2022. This is the important thing. The firming of rates reflects dwindling capacity as ongoing enforcement actions continue to remove non-compliant trucks and drivers from the market. Although overall freight volumes remained subdued within seasonal patterns, the market is now acutely sensitive to demand fluctuations. Any significant and sustained freight volumes increased in 2026 from economic recovery, restocking, and other drivers could quickly intensify capacity shortages, potentially triggering sharp rate surges and disruptions similar to those experienced during the COVID supply chain crunch. Carriers will be observant of any prolonged elevated spot pricing, would be expected to ramp up driver recruitment and fleet expansion, but new capacity additions would not fully materialize until the following quarters due to extended hiring and onboarding timelines. In summary, if capacity reductions continue, the balance toward a carrier pricing market becomes more evident. The key to watch as we enter 26 would be any strengthening on the demand side as the market is near its equilibrium. So this is cautious good news. Now, here's where everybody gets in trouble. Most people get in trouble, okay? People will automatically get in this mindset, well, the broker's been reaming us for the last, 2 years, so we're going to ream them, right? And your loyalty to that broker that's kept you busy at a decent rate for the last year, if you've managed to accomplish that, which most haven't, but that's what you should have done, you're going to abandon that broker for the better rates, right? So in this world, relationships are important. And what you find is that when the rates are super high, we tend to abandon the normal brokers that we normally use. And when rates are super low, we come crawling back to them. You need to break that cycle because what it should be about is consistency. Yes, you want to be profitable, and yes, you want to get that higher rate because you've been in the red for the last, 30 months, right? However, you got to do it with a sense of balance. You got to do it with a sense of grace. And don't be quick to go out and buy that new car you've been holding back on. Don't be quick to go out and think that you can overspend again. Anytime you buy something, whether it's for your private life or for your business, you want to be in a situation where, can I handle the worst of times with these expenses? In other words, if you It's easy to go out and buy a truck that's, $200,000 if we're all getting $4 a mile on everything. Okay. But when things fall apart, because anybody who's been in the spot market for more than 5 years knows that it's up and down, up and down, up and down. Even as a company driver, you should see that. What is the worst case scenario? Now, I know that that's not optimistic, but you have to be prepared for the worst of times. And we all get overconfident. All get overzealous when the market turns around in the carrier's favor. There was a couple of brokers I talked to yesterday that kind of had an attitude with me. Not because I was being rude or anything, but just, because you could tell they get frustrated. And that's the thing you're going to run into. You're going to run into a lot of frustrated brokers because they're having to take a loss on a lot of stuff that they quoted last month. Now, the other thing that you have to talk about is that there's a lot of people that have parked their trucks and did other things while the rates are down. And thirst quencher is I bought a 99 Classic in 24, already put the money in it to hit the road. This is the moment I was waiting for. So you got a lot, and congratulations on getting a pre-def truck. If you know how to work on it, that truck will serve you well. That's kind of what I took my test in my CDL test in a 97 Classic. Anyways, a lot of those people are going to come out, right? So the capacity is the key, right? I didn't think that the non-domicile CDL thing would turn as quickly as it has. And just be aware that the next political event, the next election could flip things right back over. So you got to keep that in mind when you're looking at, your 4 or 5 year truck notes. Right? Because that's one of the ways that they've been able to keep the freight rates down. There's a lot more team runs being posted right now. Why? Because they're not able to get that one and done carrier that was willing to unplug the ELD to make it legal to do it, right? And so there's this paradigm shift happening in the market right now, and I'm excited for it, but I'm also remembering what happened in 23 and 22 when we could pretty much name our own price, and what happened, everything just kind of collapsed after that. So what comes up or what goes up comes down. And it seems like we're more extreme. Like, okay, we're getting $5 an hour or a mile, or we're getting 50 cents a mile. It's like it's getting that extreme. And so this is something that you have to keep in mind. So be cautious about this. Don't go out there and think that you can overspend again. Don't go out there and think that you don't have to track your numbers anymore. Everything's fine. Still stack money like it's out of style. Have your savings built up. Use this time to run hard and to stack the cash and be able to store those rice and beans for a hard day, right? Because all it takes is one, black swan event to change everything. So just be aware of that. But right now, things are looking great. I'm optimistic. I'm starting to get rates like I used to. I'm not having to fight for 50 or $100. There are a lot of low cancellations I'm noticing, but that's kind of the nature of, the last 2 weeks of December and the first 2 weeks of January. And a lot, and the other thing that you have to be careful is brokers have overpromised to a lot of these customers. A lot of the drivers that I dispatch have shown up at shippers saying, oh, yeah, this was supposed to go last week. Or, yeah, this was supposed to have been delivered, 3 days ago. And the load was just barely picked up yesterday. So the brokers are having a hard time right now. They're scrambling. They're losing. Because, for example, there was a broker that had a load. I was on the phone with Shannon. I won't mention the broker name, but I was on the phone with Shannon. And so I got on their website, and no rate posted. So I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. The lane was paying 15-day on it was like $700, which seemed kind of high because I know that lane a little bit. And so everything posted with a rate was about 800 in that very exact lane. All right, cool. So I go to the website, see the load, I contact my rep, start texting her, hey, what's your rate on this? We got $425 in revenue. Now I believe that. Like maybe they're going to make $25 off that load. They definitely weren't going to take a $400 loss on that. So I said, okay, thanks for your time. I didn't even give that person my number. And then Shannon proceeded to book something for herself that was a pretty kick butt load. Because she could hold out because the volume was there. There was literally at 3:00 yesterday afternoon, there was like over 700 loads coming out of this area because this is where she was at. She was in this area. At 3:00 in the afternoon, there were 600 for that day yesterday, and there were 700 for today. So the volumes are through the roof. And when you got that kind of volume, you can name your price, you can hold out, you can be a little bit more selective. It's when you need something specific, that's when you run into problems. It took me about an hour to book somebody that needed something very specific versus the other 3 trucks, boom, 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 boom. Because we could just run, right? Actually, there was another one that had something specific, but we did pretty good with that. Why? Because the volumes in that lane was paying really well. Read my text. All right. I will try to get a video out this week, but go ahead and announce. Okay. So, quick announcement. And this is directly from Like Trucking. We at Like Trucking, Jeff and I, and hopefully some of our drivers, we will be at Matt's this year with our own booth. Normally we're there with Thunder Funding and 123 Low Board, but they've decided to opt out this year, and so we're going to do it ourselves. So Jeff has already made reservations. He's already got the booth. He's got the banner. It's going to be it's not going to be the huge booth at 123, but they pay a lot of money for those booths. But we're going to be at Matt's. And I was waiting to announce it until Jeff announced it, but Jeff just said to announce it. So we will be at Matt's this year. And if you want to talk to us about being an owner operator, if you want to talk to us about coming over here to Like Trucking, if you need someone to help you with your numbers or some, trucking issues or advice or experience, then please visit us. I'll have the booth number. Jeff, if you got the booth number handy, put it out there. But once we're there, we're going to be in the recruiting area. So we're right next to the food court, so you can at least come say hi while you get your $8 cheeseburger, okay? But yeah, we will be at Matt's. And we hope to see a lot of you there. So that's our big announcement for 2026. So that's what Jeff has been able to build with this company. And so we have our own booth at Matt's. I'm coming now with your own booth. Please don't act like you don't know me, since I'm sniping. Now, look, we love the orange. We love the orange. You know, that's the roots of like trucking. You know, Landstar and Schneider are the roots of like trucking, both with me and Jeff. And so yeah, so it's we love the big orange. We don't forget our roots. You know, there's a lot of people that, like, I see this in the music world all the time. They get famous and they get to a certain level. Not saying that we're famous or on a certain level. I'm just saying that a lot of people forget their roots. A lot of people forget the reasons why they started something in the first place. Jeff started like trucking to be different than the other carriers. And he's been able to build this thing up. We've got another driver starting this week with another lease truck. So you know, it's exciting to see this growth, and being at Matt's, you know, we're going to see if it's worth it this year. So please support, and you know, and we'll chat at you at Matt's. So anyways, but Jeff will eventually do a video about it. He's got some equipment changes too that he's dealing with, so he's trying to learn some things as well. But he's also extremely busy. Like there you go. There's the booth. 39,219 right there. There's our booth at Matt's. So make sure you come say hi. Fill out an application. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Even if you don't want to come over to Like Trucking, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then we'll have a good time. All right. And again, we'll be right near one of the food courts. So when you get that $10 cheeseburger, come over and you know, at least flip us the bird if you don't like us, right? So but we look forward to seeing you guys. It'll be I don't get to hang out with Jeff. You know, I work remotely. I don't get to hang out with him too much. You know, it's not like I have a truck and go up to Michigan. So, and so far, I predicted that we were going to have me at least drive one of the lease trucks up to Michigan, but no, the lease operators are doing well here. So, nothing witty says I will not be there in mascot costume passing out cookies, in case anyone's wondering. That's very sad. But you don't endorse SFI as more or less a full maintenance lease. They fight Freightliner to fix truck. LOL. Well, that's a different story for a different day, right? Yeah, it'd be cool to see us. Well, it'd be good to see you, man. Are you going to be there? Let's go over the comments here a little bit, and then we'll get into some of the freight stuff. Let me show the 123 low board with the map. Doink, doink. Come on. All right. Load availability. Let's put this on van. I'm digging this bigger screen. You know, before I had to like look sharp right and squint. Now it's like right here in my face. So let's put this on van. We'll take a stare at that while we read the comments. Jacksonville, Florida at the Big Orange. You know, I never went down to Florida. I think the furthest south I went was like Valdosta at Schneider. I went to the Target there, and that was about it. Desert Oak Pam, good morning. Nothing witty is in the house. Shannon with her love hands. Good morning, kids. Sterling, woohoo, happy birthday. Talking about the my brand new Focusrite interface. My wife rules. She got that for me. She's like, you need to make music. So here you go. You're kind of a butthead if you're not writing music. Good morning, folks. I wish you a happy new year to all. Unfortunately, I have to go out, but leaving like a wishing an efficient day to all. Well, good to see you, Toga. Thank you for showing up. Sterling's been hauling candy for 2 weeks. That makes sense. Thirst Quencher, we already read that, but we'll read again. I bought a 99 Classic in 24. I already put the money in it to hit the road. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Excellent. I'm coming now with your own booth. Please don't act like you don't know me. We already read that. Okay. And then there's our booth number 39219. So I need to write that down. Uh, 39219. All right. And then nothing witty. We're at that. Tennessee. So love those 49-inch screens. Yeah, they're a trip for sure. Drum Jones, good morning. James G, good morning. Pigtail, good morning. That's an awesome new desk setup. Now I need one. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it's on the members only video. Like trucking supplied a 49-inch monitor. So if like Sterling, Shannon are the only people outside of, and then Kevin on the road to recovery or whatever his name is now. Those are the only people I've seen the inside of my house. And well, another person, but they don't want me mentioning them. And know that my desk setup was pretty horrid. It was pretty cluttered. It was pretty bad. And so I spent the new year and so what happens is the dog presses against the leg and I was having to do these real quick repairs on this right side here. I had no room. I had about this much space on my desk, from my monitors. I had a printer over here that was just in the way and annoying. And it was not, having a cluttered workspace is really hard on your mental stuff as well. And it was time for a cleansing. So Jeff was like, hey, if you get a new desktop, I'll help out with the rest. Not, and so I did. So New Year's Day, I put together with my help of my son and my wife, I bought a butcher block from Jeff's advice because this is the desk he built basically. Then we put some of these standing legs. Like, wonder if I could do this. Hold on. Oh, look, it's higher. Ooh. Right? We got the standing desk, so it'll go up, so which is kind of nice, especially if I'm working on guitar stuff because I hate sitting down and playing guitar. It's hard on my back, believe it or not. And then the monitor, I was waiting for a monitor mount. So on last weekend, I put the new monitor up that he supplied, and I put another screen up on top. So I've got Samsara always in there. I've got email. So I've got everything at a glance at all times, kind of like a NASA workstation or whatever. And it's made me more efficient. It's helped me mentally. So having a clean workspace is really important. And now I still got a lot of stuff to sort through. I just kind of threw everything in a bin and was like, okay, I'll sort through this later. That's a bad habit of mine. I think the fact that my wife still loves me because I do that all the time. You should see my garage. But anyways, so yes, but Jeff has the same setup except he's got an L desk. So, Dan's Trucking says, I'd love to hang out, but there's a load of plates still calling my name. Everyone have a great day. Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. We welcome back an old contract today to the family today. Welcome back, Big Mac. Yep. And that's who's our next lease operator. So, anyways, let's go over some freight. I've been talking about freight stuff, right? And let me. I'm going to unshare this screen because it looks like DAT logged me out. Of course. And I got to go on the app. They have this thing where you authenticate with an app, right? Where is that? All right. So I don't need you guys seeing my login info. All right. The fraud is through the roof. You gotta understand that. The fraud is through the roof. And it's been a long time since I've had to actually sign an actual PDF rate con. So, anyways, that's DAT. Let's refresh this. All right, look at Arkansas. 1,300 loads coming out of Arkansas. Arizona's got 758. Alabama's got 1,200 loads coming out. Look at these volumes. These volumes are incredible. Florida's got 869 out. Look at the ratio. 1,000 loads going in, 1,023 going into Florida, and 869 coming out. So you're probably making a little bit more money than normal if you're coming out of Florida. Georgia's a little bit lopsided. 3,300 in and 2,900 out. Illinois's got almost 5,000 loads coming out. Indiana's got 3,300 coming out. Kansas has got over 1,000. These are all 4-digit numbers, people. Kentucky, 1,720. Louisiana's got 1,000 coming out. This is all dry van. Missouri's got 1,800 coming out. Mississippi's got 875. Now, North Carolina's not doing too great, but it's still got 1,900 loads coming out. They got 2,500 going in. New York's got 2,000 coming out. Look at Ohio, 4,261 coming out. PA's got almost 4,000 loads coming out. South Carolina's got more out than in, 1,500. Texas has got 6,800 loads coming outbound, 38 going in. Is that right? Yeah. Virginia's got 1,679. And Wisconsin's got 29. Almost 3,000. Excellent, excellent, excellent volumes. I haven't seen volumes like this in a long time. If you can get over to the Midwest, that's your moneymaker. As usual. So if we go back to 123's low board, these states here, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and these are good volumes here too. 704 on 123 low board coming out of Ohio. So let's sort this by highest rate. $4,900, $230 to go to Las Vegas out of Sugar Creek, Ohio. I'm seeing now. This is showing $1.96 go to Portland. I've been seeing $2 and $3 a mile going out to Washington and Oregon, out of the Midwest. And we're getting close to 4, definitely above 350 to 4 to go to Florida. So here's Akron, Ohio to Fort Myers, Florida, 374 mile, $4,400. $1.80 you go to California. That's pretty good, right? Now you might say $1.80, you can't make money with that. No, I'm just saying that normally this is $1.30, $1.20, $1.15, right? Now, if we sort this by highest rate per mile, that's Canada. That don't count. Westchester, Ohio, to Winchester, Indiana, $500. That's only 77 miles, though. So the short game is coming back as well. I've noticed that. And look here, Columbus to Fairmont, West Virginia, 551 a mile for 200 miles. Of course, it's going to be tough. If you notice, West Virginia is always red in the van world here on 123 load board. Here's $800 for 200 miles. Now, normally, Raycheck's got it at $1,272. Now, something I want to talk about. So you have, when the market changes this abruptly, and I'll go to DAT to kind of demonstrate this. So let's go to my searches here. So this is Joplin to anywhere, 150-mile radius. There's over 1,000 loads. Okay. Here's Muskogee to Hazelwood, Missouri. Pretty easy run. They're at $1,000, 15 days on it to 1,003. Let me give you an example here. 1,400, 15 days, 1,300. One pick, one drop, light load, palletized. This is what I'm talking about. Pryor, Oklahoma. They get $290 a mile to go from Oklahoma to Olney, Illinois. That's going to be at Farm Store. I forget which one. Now, and it's an open window on the pickup. I've done this load, I think, on my own truck. 483 miles for $1,400. Now the 15 day on the 15 day and then 123's rate check it's going to skew these numbers for a minute. So know what you're worth and know when you can be aggressive. When you see over 1,000 loads within a 150-mile radius going anywhere, you have some leverage. Knowing when you have leverage is important. Okay, now like here's this Muskogee to Hazelwood. It's posted twice. It's probably not two separate loads. It's probably just a multiple posting. There's that. So don't let these numbers get you skewed too much. But when you see that kind of numbers, it's in your favor. CDN says, "Good morning, Steve. I'm so late. I think I'm first. How are carriers integrating AI into your daily operations?" That's a good question. Most carriers are avoiding AI if they can, but AI has been a big part of my life here lately because of what the brokers are dealing with. Now, what's the cost of this? Is it because the holiday and the weather? Those are factors. But see, February will tell the story of what's going to happen this first quarter. And that's why you go back to the beginning in the title of this video, you got to be cautiously optimistic. This is not a free for all. It's like, okay, suddenly there's an abundance of food. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. That was something Provost used to tell me all the time. You got to know when to be aggressive and make sure that you still maintain your broker relationships. But it's time to get some money now and save it, manage it, because this won't be forever. Whether this lasts a month or a year should make no difference to you. Let's up this font here a little bit. Here's Joplin to Lakeland, $3,000. Now it's way lower than the 15-day. These 15-day markets are all over the place. But see, I could probably call on this and probably get that 36 because I've actually done that already this week with one of the trucks I've dispatched. Monday morning, I dispatched almost $10,000 worth of freight like that. It was a busy day, but it was awesome. It felt like the old days when I first started doing this. It was great. Let's see. CDN says market data backfired on me yesterday. I have a load from Alberta to Florida. Carrier called and wanted 7,200. I looked at that. Max was 7K. I tried to offer 69. He just hung up. Yep. That market data is going to be skewed for a minute. Whenever there's, when you see this, and I was going over your report that you gave me, when you see these extremes here on the increases, and you see this, things are going to be wonky for a couple of weeks. So knowing your numbers, knowing your lane, and knowing when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive is the key. And you're not the only broker dealing with that, CDN. And they're getting kind of pissy. I know you're not, but what was interesting is I had a broker kind of get like with me yesterday. And I'm trying to be polite, but it's like you could tell he was stressed out. And here's CDN. This is how smart he is, right? So he and I had a conversation about, I think, 6 or 8 months ago, maybe it was a year ago, where he said that his brokerage was making it a point that they had to educate their customers, their shippers, to know that, hey, look, if we don't adjust rates now, it could bite us in the butt later. I'm paraphrasing here. Because if things are unsustainable for a long time, a lot of carriers go out of business. Well, when carriers go out of business, guess what? Capacity tightens, and then we get to name our rates. And the shippers are left like, what do we do? Now we're losing our butts. That's exactly what happened after COVID. And a lot of brokers underquoted the shippers. See, there's a thing in business where you under promise and over deliver, where a lot of brokerages over promise and under deliver. And I'm not just saying that out of my butt. I'm saying that because there's been several times in the last couple of weeks that the driver shows up and the load had supposed to have been picked up last week, and and the shippers were all mad at the brokers because they lied to them, said, yeah, we've got a truck there tomorrow, and then nothing happens, that kind of thing. We had one driver show up that was so grateful for our driver to be there because they've literally been sitting at the warehouse in his way for the last week because the broker said that they can move it, and they couldn't. So, I mean, it's a very stressful time for everybody. But this market turnaround, be cautiously optimistic. I don't know how long this is going to last, but I am seeing spring freight starting to move now. And we're only into the first 7 days of January. So just be aware of that. And don't forget the relationships you've established in the hard times. That's basically the gist of this whole video. Here we go. Here's another example. Massillon, Ohio to Florence, Kentucky. Rate check's got it at 722. They're offering 900. Food varies products, so it's not hazmat. It's 24,000 pounds. I could probably get 1,000 for this, which would put it at above $4 a mile. Why? Because there's a ton of freight coming out of Ohio right now. A lot of brokers have overpromised and underdelivered, and the shippers are mad. There's no one. $1,400 for 385 miles, and you're not even having to go to Florida. Now, Midway, Tennessee, I don't know what the freight market is coming out of there, but look at the delivery. It picks up at 1 p.m. today, delivers at 7:30 tomorrow night, 385 miles. So there's that. But so, you could be a little bit more aggressive, but it's 114% above my cost per day. So excellent freight market. Let's take a look at flatbed, because this is where 123 really shines. A lot more yellow. Let's see. You've got 943 outbound loads in Georgia, 2,000 loads coming out of Alabama, 1,124 coming out of Mississippi, 424 out of Louisiana, only 277 out of Texas, even though it's green. But if you want to run Georgia, Alabama, and back, you could probably, or Mississippi, you make I-10 your lane there. And I-10 and I-20 are your friends throughout here, and you'll do all right. Or you can go back and forth to the Midwest here. 537 loads outbound and flatbed on 123 here. But let's do Alabama here. It's got the highest volume in this low board here for flatbed. So let's do highest rate. $3,400 to go to Jersey. $258 to go to South Dakota. $251, $33.75 to go to New York. Is that upstate or the city? Let me look here. Yeah, it's central New York, not bad. Now a lot of this is going to bad areas, so let's do the highest rate per mile. We'll scroll past these $500 loads here. Muscle Shoals, Alabama to Auburn, Kentucky, which is green over here. So $489 a mile, $920. Rate check's got it at 738, so that's an upswing. Birmingham to Jackson, Tennessee. I see a ton of emails from this broker all the time trying to move this. Rate check's got 858. They're at 1,050. Like if you got a flatbed, you can easily make $1,000 a day. Run in the right area. Don't get me wrong. Or you could do like these $700 jobs, which our flatbed used to do. For 150 miles, one and done, no tarp. So I mean, these are good lanes, and a lot of these are recent postings. Like these are all for today and tomorrow. Look at all this. Here's one for January 9th. Because sometimes I open up the slow board and you see stuff for next month, right? So, and then let's go to Reefer since Reefer's been doing so well. Let's look at their volumes. Oh, look at all the green here. Now, Southeast looks like kind of a crap show, but this upper Midwest is doing pretty good. Arizona's green. So 164 outbound in Missouri, 266 outbound in Illinois, 231 in Indiana, 208 in Ohio, 258 in Pennsylvania. Now, Sterling mentioned he's hauling a lot of candy. You got a lot of candy that comes out of Pennsylvania, obviously, Hershey and all that. $1,700 for 292 miles. Now a lot of this is so. Let's book this by posted age. Actually, let's look at highest rate. See what long haul's doing. See, here's typical. We just saw a van load for $1.80 a mile going out to California. Here it's $1.26. See, this is what I'm talking about, California freight, right? There's no big payers here other than a couple of $3,000 loads going to Florida. So my strategy would be get a shorty from Pennsylvania, Ohio, and then Ohio, go wherever you want, because obviously the rates were a lot higher coming out of Ohio. Like this Carlisle to Medley, Florida, you can get probably 35. It says 29. You probably get 35 in van out of Ohio. Yeah, they're $1,000 below the rate check. And that's not till January 11th, so they got some time to move this. But here's one for today: Pottsville, PA to Kissimmee, Florida. Their rate check's got at 28. They're at 27 for 1,000, so they're at $250 a mile. And as you notice, Florida's yellow here, so that's, there's only 69 outbound here. 1, 2, 3. Wisconsin looks good. So, but anyways, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you don't mind, put the thumbs up and share the algorithms. And for the people watching the replay, I appreciate you too. Thank you for the members and thank you for the input you had. I did upload. I've been trying to upload better for the members, upload more. I want to be a little bit more aggressive with this YouTube thing on 2026 if YouTube will let me. So anyways, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. And again, we're going to be at Matt's this year. So I'll let Jeff talk about it whenever he gets up and running. So with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. And we'll talk at you hopefully Friday. Peace.